Meet Me in the Middle.
Welcome to Meet Me in the Middle. I'm your host, Kirsten Cole. We love to unpack all things about middle age with an eye on the future, knowing that our best years are ahead of us. We're harnessing everything we've already got in our terrific toolkit of living life to the fullest, but we are trying to make our lives richer, fuller, better, healthier, more money in our pocket, and more health in our well-being bank account. It's so good to be with you today. And I am so excited to bring you this episode about your gut health. There's a reason why there's a lot of sort of typical parlance where we talk about go with your gut, lead with your gut. What does your gut have that it's telling you? And the reason why is because that really is our second brain. And to help us understand all of this is Dr. Alexandra Shustina. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you, Kirsten. I'm so happy to be here.
I
love
this.
Excited to talk about everything gut health.
Everything gut health. And so you are a gastroenterologist, an internist, a functional medicine specialist. You are the whole gut leader. That's your website, actually, right? The whole gut.
Whole gut health.
Wholeguthealth.com. You got to go check it out. You have so many good resources there. It is so important. And I feel like only recently, as I've been going to my what I call traditional Western silo practitioners that sort of live in their lane, have they started talking about my gut and what I need to be doing for my gut health. And it's just like a very top line. We're starting to dip our toe in the water, but you've been living life in the gut for a long time.
Oh, yeah. Before it was popular.
Before it was part of so much that we're reading up on.
Yeah.
I took a dive into gut numbers, and I saw that this gut diseases, which are an alphabet soup that we'll get to in a second, gut diseases were a very Western phenomenon for a long time. And that has shifted. And it's no longer just, North America and Europe, but we're seeing it in Asia. We're seeing it in the Middle East. We're seeing it in Africa, being driven by, as you look at the science and the studies, a lot by our access to ultra-processed food, which is burning and fueling a lot of leaky gut, and then the alphabet soup. So I'm going to look at my notes. We've got IBS, IBD, SIBO, reflux, food sensitivities, autoimmune disease, chronic inflammation.
Oh, yeah, and the list goes on and on and on.
And the list goes on. I'm sure you probably feel like, and through your research and working with patients, see that it is the root of just about everything that ails us, including our mental health.
Right.
Those two. So go ahead.
Okay.
Give us a 30,000-foot view. What's going on?
So what you were describing is accurate. Like things like inflammatory bowel disease, which is basically Crohn's and ulcerative colitis. There are certain populations that have it more prevalent. It's more common, like in the United States. And countries like Japan, for example, they have it much less. And as we see in the westernization of the diet, which is access to more highly processed inflammatory foods, their numbers start to go up.
Yeah.
So that is a huge player in health and disease, is like, what are you putting in your body? Like, you're not going to go to the gas station and put in apple juice, right? You're going to put in gasoline and maybe even the right one.
Right.
But like, why do we think we can just throw anything in there that has calories and it's going to be okay?
And this ultra-processed food, can you tell me what it is?
So there's foods the way that they exist in nature. And I like to talk about it like
grows out of the ground.
Grows out of the ground. Right.
Or eats something that grows out of the ground.
Exactly.
That's pretty much what we should be putting in our bodies.
Exactly.
But instead, we're shopping in the middle of the grocery store.
Right.
We're ordering in, right? We're having our groceries delivered, and everything is in a box or a bag.
Right.
And what's that mean?
So the more human intervention there is in a food, the less healthy it is.
Because
the food, as it grows in the ground, is a perfect specimen of, God, nature, energy,
and what our body knows how to handle.
And our body has an innate intelligence to resonate with those kind of foods.
Right.
But now we take all this foods that are processed by man with the intention of profits only. And
you're calling it out.
Sorry.
You're not going to sugarcoat
Sorry, I'm not going
to
sugarcoat it, but it is. I mean, listen, there's good aspects about being in a free market system, right? But
and we have good things like there's vitamin fortification that goes into some foods that maybe weren't, so healthful for us, weren't so healthfully impactful if we didn't have access to those vitamins in other ways, right? So that's, but
it's better.
It's better, but it's not great.
It's not great. Like it's great to get it right from the source. Like,
so it gets processed and then they put things in it to make it really palatable. They put in oils, they put in sugars, and a lot of those oils that they put in are the ones that are cheap.
Absolutely.
And those cheap ones are?
Seed oils, vegetable oils.
Mm-hmm. Are there any vegetables in vegetable oil? Just asking for a friend. They're inflammatory. And what does that mean? Does that mean I can't put my rings on my fingers and I have bags under my eyes because I'm puffy? What's it doing?
It could manifest that way. But basically, what is it? Then let's dissect what inflammation actually is.
Yes, please.
Right? So inflammation is good. Inflammation is our body's natural response to an infection or abnormal cell. Like, we have an immune system that mounts an inflammatory response.
For a reason.
It's good. The problem is when it becomes chronic.
Yeah.
And then we take that response that was supposed to be short-lived to help us survive, to help us restore balance, and now we're living in that. So you can look at it in different ways. Like, for example, high cortisol. Like, cortisol is also a survival, a tool. Like,
it's a good hormone to have.
We have to have it. Yeah.
When you're being chased by the saber-toothed tiger, run fast.
Exactly. So it's not a problem.
Right.
The problem is when it's chronic.
Yeah.
So a lot of these type of foods, and not only foods, by the way, it's also our stress. They create a chronic inflammatory state, and chronic inflammation is the foundation of all disease.
We're hearing about it much more, at least in the popular corners. I know you've been hearing about it and preaching about it, but we're hearing about it for cancer, for heart disease, and then for all of these autoimmune diseases that you never knew anybody who had one, and now everybody has one.
Yeah. Right. So you can look at it also like a lot of people feel, well, I have heart disease in my family, right? Or it's genetic. And
I say you have heart disease in your family's cupboard.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
It's true.
Show me what's in your kitchen, and I know a lot about you.
Yeah.
Show me what.
It's true. But we also do have a genetic code that causes predispositions, and I don't know if you've heard this. Genetics load the gun, but environment pulls the trigger.
Oh, that is a great phrase.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's our genes create like strengths and weaknesses in our body, but it's what we do with those that actually allows it to manifest as health and disease.
It is so powerful. We want to pack and unpack so much into this episode. We're going to take a little bit of a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about conventional medicine and holistic healing and how you can combine the two so that you can create this perfect brew to make yourself healthy. When we come back on Meet Me in the Middle.
You're watching Meet Me in the Middle.
Welcome back to Meet Me in the Middle. I am Kirsten Cole, your host, and we are talking about your gut, how unhealthy it may be, and how to change that channel and to bring more health and vivacity into your life as we look down the great long stretch of the end part of your life. We want you to get there feeling terrific with us this morning. Dr. Alexandra Shustina, you have offices in New York and Miami, which, by the way, I want your life. You're in the two greatest places. And you're seeing patients to optimize them. I would imagine people have probably been down a little bit of a road by the time they get to you. So let's say, a lot of these, early indicators that something is awry with us are sort of nebulous. I haven't been sleeping so well. I feel kind of like brain fog. I'm just not feeling like myself. I've got low energy. My body looks weird. My face looks strange. I have a food baby. Every time I eat a meal, my belly distends. Who should we go see? How do we start on this journey? And what can we be doing right now in our own lives to start to turn this ship around?
So I think before you run to see anyone is check in with yourself.
Okay.
Because I look the way that I see the body's symptoms, which most of us think are negative, like, pain, constipation, as a language. Our body's trying to tell us something, like it could be you're eating the wrong foods. It could be you're not sleeping enough. It could be you're stressed. It could be you're unloved. It could be a lot of things. And the first thing is not to get upset, get emotional, get stressed, but just to really
be curious.
Be curious.
Yeah.
Yes. Be curious from like a place of trying to learn the answer rather than like get upset and worry. Because sometimes, and I know that's so easy to say, don't worry, you're fine. That's not what I mean.
That's not what you're saying.
Yeah. I mean, the worry sometimes makes things worse because we start feeding the beast, right? So now I'm like, my stomach
stress
hurts.
And the anxiety is ramped up.
Right. So first check in, like, sometimes we just know, like, it started last week and last week is when I heard this news. Or it started like a year ago when I changed my diet. Like sometimes we just know. And I think we have a lot more wisdom than we give ourselves credit for because we like to leave everything to the experts. But there's no greater expert than you for your body.
I love a good food journal. I love to start taking notes on this. What are you eating? What are you putting in? And then what do you notice? Like I wear an Aura ring and it allows me to tag things. So I can tag like I had a late meal or I had a heavy meal or I had alcohol with my meal or, I didn't exercise or, so I can begin to like notice some patterns.
Right.
And you can start to shift some things even in that place.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And for a lot of people that works. Like some people get a little bit like some people have anxiety about it and maybe like some obsessive tendencies and that doesn't work for them because then that takes them down a different path, like rather than a path of just being curious, it takes them on a path of like being more in control of the details. But for a lot of people that does work. Like maybe I'm not even noticing I'm eating the wrong foods.
Right. Let's talk about which doctor should we go to.
Right.
There's a lot available to us virtually, and a lot of tests can be ordered virtually. Right. I see you have some thoughts on that. I know. So talk to me about that versus seeing a doctor in person. My internist, it takes me 9 months to get in to see her. And then I usually get about 8.5 minutes with her. I don't feel like I could do a deep dive on these issues. So what do I have to do?
So the medical system, the way it has shifted over the last few years is unfortunately designed in a way that doctors who are in the insurance model, who are in the conventional model, are just not able to give that time. That's one barrier. It's not the only one. Another great barrier is the fact that we're not taught in med school anything about nutrition, very little about prevention, almost nothing about stress. Like all we're taught is, and we receive a lot of education, like it's a long path. It's extremely like time intensive, information intensive, but it's all like, what are the symptoms? How do you get that diagnosis? And what pill can I take?
Yeah.
There's nothing about like, well, how do we prevent that? Or what foods
Let's look
can
at
work?
The whole person. So you need to find a physician that obviously is like you, functional medicine, gastroenterology, internist. How do you find and get access to these doctors?
So first, I would say like, listen to
yourself
and listen to yourself and see, like, make sure what you're looking for is coming from a place of clarity rather than fear.
Okay.
2, I think, is education. Like you can look and see what resonates with you. Like one thing that I think is important as a physician is not to create more fear. So I know there's a lot of like, if you don't take this, you will die kind of communication at the doctor.
Right.
But I think like which doctor resonates with you that makes you feel better just with their presence.
So either in the current swirl that you have or seeking out somebody new. I know when I started on my journey initially, I didn't even know what a functional medicine doctor was, but I was talking to my friends about issues that I was having, that my daughter was having, which were similar. We were both having like belly issues, and, got the resounding, answer back from several different people. Oh, you need to go see this person. And so that sort of started me on my awareness journey. And then it just continued to blossom from there.
So I think it's definitely good to do your research, check with your friends, check online. Some of my patients that had been with me a good while and had amazing results, they randomly found me on Google. So I think
we all have so much of that searching ability at our fingertips. But if you could wave a magic wand for somebody just starting on this journey, what would you tell them about their own lifestyle, about a change that they could make before they even get a doctor's appointment?
So the first thing, like I said, check in with your diet, check in with your state of mind. Like, are you stressed all day?
Are you eating out of a box in a bag or out of a restaurant all the time?
Right.
And how can you literally clean that up? Get back to more what grows out of the ground.
So, first is being aware of like what's in my food. Because sometimes we go to the store and we'll go to like a healthy store, and then we're like, this says almond milk. But if you turn it around, right? There's like a lot more than almond milk in there, right?
There's a lot more than almonds in water.
That's all there. But there are some brands that are clean. So that's the first thing. Start getting educated on what's actually in your foods. So,
do you have an app that you like for decoding ingredients?
No, unfortunately.
It is,
but it's a great idea.
It's it's time intensive. It's research intensive initially, and then you'll see the same ingredients show up again and again and again in these processed foods, and you'll start to understand.
Yeah, that's a great. I mean, my patients have the benefit of it because I go through everything with them in detail. But that's a great tool.
So, and then I know that you talk a lot about how to get holistic, and when it comes to holistic, and you started, I heard you speak of it at a couple points.
Yeah,
you talk about the spirituality. You said, how are you feeling? Is there a hurt there, right? And we're going to talk about that, and that drives a lot of it as well. We know that stress is a big part of it, but you're going to go a little bit deeper. So when we come back on the flip side of this break, we're going to take a look at the spiritual aspect of your whole person and how it could be impacting your well-being on the gut level. We're going to go there. I'm Kirsten Cole. We're going to be back in just a couple minutes.
You're watching Meet Me in the Middle.
I'm Kirsten Cole. This is Meet Me in the Middle. We are figuring out how to make this last wonderful piece of your life glorious and healthful and as rich as it can be in your physical self. I want to bring in Dr. Alexandra Shustina. She is leading us through this entire practice as a gastroenterologist, an internist, a functional medicine specialist. Really, we need all of these people in our lives. You are that person that we need. How do people find you?
wholegut.com has everything, has my socials, has our office number, our newsletter.
And you're great on the Instagram about posting really good like snack size bites of things that people can be doing, which I appreciate. You're on the Facebook too. Yeah. Right. So we were talking about spirituality, and this is sort of, I call it like the woo-woo part of the practice, but it's the real part of your practice. We all have stuff. Right? And our stuff is impacting our gut.
Right.
How do you're not a psychologist, you're not a therapist. No. How do you help your patients with this part of their lives to make their bodies better?
So there's so much to do in the office and outside of the office.
Okay.
But the first concept is we're not just a body, we're a soul. And we have a purpose in this life. Like at age 3, I knew I wanted to be a doctor. No one in my family is a doctor. I was born in a communist country. Like it wasn't logical. So I believe that we have a purpose, and when we're aligned with that purpose, everything else lines up. So ultimately, it's really about realigning yourself to your greatest potential.
And a lot of us carry hurts.
Yes.
You know, we're human. This human existence can be a really difficult one.
Yes.
And they can be just sort of, the small hurts that come along
Right.
in everyday life to some really big and profound traumatic
Yes.
events that really take a toll on our bodies.
Yes. So especially in childhood, because what happens in childhood is we still haven't developed the intellectual ability to give something a reason or a purpose, which actually helps us heal. So when we're a child and we experience something, abandonment, hurt, criticism is a big one by parents who love their kids. And we just, as children, internalize it and sits in our subconscious mind, and then it just kind of creates a belief system. That belief system can create a stressful pattern. That stressful pattern can create all sorts of neurotransmitters and hormones that create inflammation. So it's almost like, even though it happened 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, it was never fully processed, and it's sitting within us and kind of eating at us from the outside.
It's literally eating us alive. Yeah. But you're saying some of the basics that we can do.
You can do a lot.
And those are?
Meditation. And I know for some people, meditation's like a no-brainer. Like they can sit for an hour, no problem. But for someone who's never done it, it's like, okay, 5 minutes is a lot, right? Because why don't we like to sit with ourselves for 5 minutes? Because all the stuff comes out, right? We're so busy. So that's okay. Practice makes perfect, right? You're not going to be, no one was a professional athlete, without before, there was a time they didn't know how to, hit the ball or whatever, right? So you start 2 minutes, 30 seconds, whatever it is. And it's not, it's going to be the perfection in the beginning. No, it might take you a month. It might take you 6 months. But there's going to be a point when you're going to be like, whoa, I got it. And you see the benefit from it. For me, meditation it's like showering in the morning. I don't leave the house without it. So, but it took me a long time to get to the place where I see its incredible value. Breath work is super easy. The breath is so easy because we could all breathe. Well, most of us can breathe, right? So
Mindfully.
It's free.
We need to breathe.
It's free, and
right?
Air is free, right? And we can do it anywhere. We don't need any tools. We don't need any gadgets. So slowing down the breath is a huge part of getting yourself to a calm place immediately, within minutes. But you can also use the breath with more intense breathing, with more different kinds of modified breathing, and for different lengths of breathing to actually heal. People have been able to cure drug addictions through intense breath work, because the breath is a very powerful tool, because it's both unconscious and conscious, and we can control it and not control it. And that helps us kind of integrate the conscious mind with the subconscious mind.
Okay.
Time in nature.
Oh.
We're in New York City.
But I love hiking. But even Central Park.
Yes.
Even walking along the Hudson River, wherever or the East River.
Right.
Wherever you can find it, get out of the jungle and go into the green.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. It's just being around water, being around trees, that calms the nervous system. Grounding, putting your feet on the soil. I mean, maybe you don't want to do that in New York concrete or the subway, but on the grass, on the sand, it's also a great, free, amazing tool that's available to us. Journaling, getting out on paper some things that are maybe too painful to be said, really being vulnerable, and just writing on paper all the things that we don't want to tell someone else, all the things that we maybe not even want to hear ourselves say, is really to get it out. That's another beautiful, free, and amazing tool.
And obviously therapy is great as well, but if you don't have the funds for it or the time, or you don't have access to the therapist, this is just these are such good, actionable beginning steps. Yes. Meditate, breath work, both of those you can find apps for.
Yes.
Getting out in nature, that's free. Maybe it's the cost of a subway fare or something like that, or just a little extra time with your feet. Checking in with yourself, journaling, and even, journaling your food and how you react to it, being more aware, and then seeking out somebody like you functional medicine, integrative, that is truly looking at the connection between the alphabet soup of IBD, IBS, SIBO, autoimmune, all of these things, and stopping this, train that's barreling down the tracks now can allow you, like I'm at the age now in my mid-50s where I think about how do I want to thrive in the final third of my life, right? I'm probably, between half and 2/3 way through. How do I want to thrive in the end of my life? Not just survive, but thrive. And this can give you a much more thriving life to have control of your health.
Yep, absolutely.
All is not lost.
Not only all is not lost, there's so much to gain.
There's so much to gain. And there's so much to unpack. I highly encourage you to go to Dr. Shustina's website, which again is
wholegut.com, like whole, WHOLE.
Yes, because she's put a tremendous amount of resources there that can sort of get you accustomed to this language, start you walking the path. And you can sign up for her newsletter as well, where she shares a lot of great information. Watch her podcasts because she's also sharing a tremendous amount. I love how much you're educating. I always am so appreciative of the yous in the world that are so generous with your time and your knowledge. And we appreciate you being here on Meet Me in the Middle. And of course, if you want to explore your favorite topic, and what do you want to talk about? Money, lifestyle, health, love, spirituality. Drop me a note right here. I'm going to find the expert for us so that we can unpack it the next time we meet in the middle. I'm Kirsten Cole. I'll see you soon.